On a more positive note, if we go beyond this apocalyptic judgment, some visions of hope arise. Santa Maria, a quiet pastoral city on California's central coast, a place that centuries of prophecy has pointed to as one where something strange and supernatural would one day happen. In the 70s and 80s, ordinary worshippers there claimed to have received prophecies of calamitous events soon to come. Their messages were studied by author and researcher Jerry Castro.
A specific prophecy was given for this particular area of California. Did it involve something that was futuristic, catastrophic? No one knew. And so people began to take that very seriously, in that there was some event anticipated.
Then on March the 24th, 1990, a prayer group at the site of a sacred hill was shocked by the sight of a woman suddenly falling to her knees in an ecstatic trance. This stranger to Santa Maria was 42-year-old Barbara Matthias.
I heard an audible voice, only 2 words, look up. And so I looked up, and that was when I saw the Blessed Mother. She said to me that it was absolutely very important that I come to live in Santa Maria. And she said, do not be afraid. You will see me again. I will arrange it.
This mysterious woman, born with the genetic disability known as Turner's syndrome, rented a room in Santa Maria where, behind closed doors, she claims to have experienced daily apparitions of Mary. At precisely 4:30 every afternoon, Barbara Matthias drops to her knees, her head falls back, and her unblinking eyes fix upon the vision she claims brings urgent messages for mankind. She can remain in this unnatural position for as long as 6 hours.
Generally, I'm at home. However, Blessed Mother has appeared to me in a plane. She's appeared to me in a car. She's appeared to me on a bus. This is an age where people go for very material things and turn away from God. So her whole purpose in coming is to bring the souls of her children back from a way of sinfulness to holiness.
Barbara claimed to have messages from Mary containing urgent warnings that the recent increase in earthquakes, fires, and other natural disasters are signs of more dire devastation to come. As word of the messages spread, so did the rumors about the mysterious stranger bringing them. Was Barbara a part of the Santa Maria prophecy, or was she merely disturbed?
The question was this. Barbara Matthias has come to Santa Maria. She is claiming apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Rumor has it she's schizophrenic. Is she inventing all of this herself? Is it a hoax? Or is she psychologically disturbed? We must look and see, and we must do it seriously.
Castro helped assemble a team of scientific researchers and doctors to perform a battery of medical tests on Barbara. Present at one of these seemingly painful experiments was Barbara's church-appointed spiritual advisor, Father Richard Joseph Culver.
I was involved in being a witness to one of the tests. She was all hooked up, and they had all kinds of machines. Everybody present, we cried. It was so painful to watch her.
While awake, Barbara felt normal discomfort, but in her trance she was oblivious to pain. Most people would flinch from a needle to their eyeball. Barbara barely blinks.
I asked Blessed Mother during an apparition, I said, Blessed Mother, they've asked me to ask you if you would like me to go through this testing. And she smiled and she said, yes, because this will all help further my plans.
After neurological tests, psychological screenings, lie detection experiments, and state-of-the-art brain scans, the scientists completed their investigations. Coordinating researcher Dr. Linda Davenport summarizes their findings.
She has no mental illness that falls into any diagnostic category. We found out that she is truly in a different state of physiological functioning and consciousness during the apparition. We found no way that she could possibly fake the experience. We were impressed with her sincerity and had no way to explain away what was happening.
Anna Marie Magenberg, a nurse on the research team, recalls another experience with Barbara that was eerily unexplainable.
There was one particular time that Barbara was present in my home, and she was having a private apparition. And we went to just shift her position, and we could not move her, no matter how hard we tried. You have to understand, Barbara is only 4 feet 8, and she weighed 96 pounds. She felt like 500 pounds of cement. As we shifted her, her body moved, but her face remained intact and still fixated on the point, even though her body was moved.
As with others who have reported seeing the Virgin Mary, Barbara claims to have been involved with healing.
I was working as a volunteer, and they asked me to go downstairs and admit a patient to the hospital, and she was very weak. Her cancer was in advanced stages. She was bordering comatose. The medical staff gave her 26 hours to live. I got her settled in her room. She fell asleep, and as she fell asleep, I had a desire to pray. And so I extended my hands over her, and I began to pray. And as I prayed, I got an enormously hot feeling going all through my hands and my whole being. The next day, I went to the hospital not knowing what to expect. She was walking around. Her cheeks were rosy, and she said that every pain left my body. So the doctors checked her out, and the cancer is gone.
Even large groups of people have reported feeling the presence of another worldly being during Barbara's apparitions.
People will report that they're engulfed in a scent of roses. Sometimes people will describe a heavenly perfume. Sometimes people will report their rosaries will turn golden right in their hand.
When other worshippers are present at an apparition, Barbara sometimes guides their hands to touch what they say feels like the Virgin Mary's hands and feet. 12-year-old Corinne Caswell is among those who have experienced this phenomenon.
We walked in kind of during the middle of the apparition, and it was a locker room. And I was really surprised that there was an apparition in a locker room, because I thought all these holy things like apparitions happened in churches, chapels, holy places, not in a locker room. We watched Barbara, and she was just kneeling, and she was looking at a chalkboard. I just got this totally different feeling. And it was a feeling that I've never felt before, and a feeling that no human words can describe. After a couple minutes, she slowly put her hand back, and she didn't even turn her head. And as she slowly put my hand up, I could feel fingers of a woman touching my hand. And it was just one finger at a time, going over my wrist. And a feeling of love went all through my arm and then through my entire body. After a while, I looked up at the chalkboard, and I started to see a light, sketched out vision of a face. Then it slowly became more detailed and darker. Then I really knew, oh my gosh, it's Jesus.
This strange woman who communes with heavenly spirits is content to spend her days as a menial worker in a fast food restaurant. Why was she sent to Santa Maria at this point in history? Are her apparitions of the Virgin a warning of a divine chastisement soon to come? That theory is supported by author Michael Brown.
A chastisement is a purification. It's an event allowed by God, or perhaps sent by God, to purge evil. It's God's way of putting the world back into order. Right now, we're being warned like never before.
Although these warnings have come to Barbara in the form of secret prophecies, she has shared them with Father Culver.
Barbara does have 5 secret messages from the apparition. They're a call to change. That's another word for conversion. To change our lives.
She also is giving warnings. And she gives those warnings through Barbara that the time to change is now, because it might be too late.
Some scholars argue that sightings of the Virgin Mary often come as warnings of bloodshed in far-off lands, such as Kibeo, Rwanda, or Medjugorje, Yugoslavia. These visions are allegedly accompanied by phenomena such as healings or prophetic messages that seem almost miraculous.